I'm Kier.
I'm Haley.
And I'm Jay from Gallifrey Public Radio,
a podcast member of the GonnaGeek network.
Just like the one you're listening to right now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual.
Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready, because geekiness begins in 3,
2,
1.
This is it. The part of your week where you get to put your headphones on, relax, and listen to a bunch of geeks geek out about geeky things. They're passionate.
I'm an IT guy. You should never delete. Most of the time you delete, you regret deleting.
They rage.
You guys are being like hypersensitive with your point to be offended. Oh, he deleted his Twitter account. Oh, I'm mad. What?
And sometimes they're even funny.
Tell your wife that I said hello again and sorry I couldn't be there tonight.
It's okay. Your wife says hi too.
Let me emphasize that. Sometimes. Welcome to the GonnaGeek.com podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 102 of the GonnaGeek.com podcast. We are here tonight, once again, French Canadian-less. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I made that a lot more difficult than it needed to be.
Are we wallowing in our French Canadian lessness? Ooh, see?
Obviously.
I made it difficult.
Obviously we are. No, JS is not here tonight. He is still getting over the move, still finishing the whole move thing, and hopefully soon enough he'll be back. But we'll see. You know, we're pretty offensive smelling people. That's what we are.
But you can't smell over the internet.
So he can imagine. That's how bad we are.
I just took a shower. I don't smell. I even used deodorant. Here. No, I'm not going to do that. No smell-o-vision on the GonnaGeek podcast. Nope. Steven's nodding. They're shaking his head. Nope.
That's a little Easter egg for all the audio listeners.
An Easter egg.
It's a little Easter egg. That's what it is.
Shaking your head.
You shaking my head. It's an Easter egg. So how's your week's going so far?
My week is over. This is Friday for me. Woohoo!
Oh, I hate you.
No, me too, because tomorrow, to my fellow Canadians, I wish you a happy Canada Day. So, of course, naturally, I took the rest of the week off, like any good Canadian citizen would. And, it's mostly because I'm an honorary American. I believe that somebody once made me that.
I thought Canadian Day was Cinco de Mayo.
Yes, that's very, very true. We are Cinco de Mayo. We love our mayonnaise up here.
Bet you do. Gobs it. On your bacon too, right? Your Canadian bacon.
Is there any other way? Is there any other way?
On BLTs? No. I've actually had to transition to mayo-less, and yeah, those BLTs aren't as good as the mayo ones for sure.
Yeah, we do things all backwards up here in Canardia. That's what we do. I
thought Canardia was through the wardrobe.
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't know you had to go backwards. So if I'm up in Canardia, whatever, I have to drive backwards?
And
do I have to fly my plane backwards to get in there?
You always have to fly backwards no matter what you do, because you are American and we are Canadian. So you do whatever.
Oh no, don't do that. Sound of freedom, man. Sound of freedom. We got the jets. We'll use them.
Here's the problem, though. Canada is just America's hat. That's all there is to it. You're just our hat.
Actually, you guys are Canada's underpants. I'm sorry.
You keep our ears warm.
You keep our... I was going to say... whatever, I'll say you keep our dicks warm, okay? That's what you do.
There's an Easter egg for you.
Should we go ahead and move into the news?
Please.
All right, let's do that. Let's go ahead and start off with SP and his news. SP, what you got on deck?
Oh, On deck, apparently nothing on deck, at least nothing that works. Okay, rocket science news up forthcoming. All right, just disclaimer right there. Go ahead, drink, whatever you got to do. So SpaceX, which is the Elon Musk space company, tried launching their Falcon 9 rocket, which had cargo for the International Space Station on Sunday. It failed, and which makes about 3 failures in the recent months that they've had, and they're going to be down at least for another year. So this is going to impact a lot of deliverables, the DoD, the government in general for weather satellites, that sort of stuff, and International Space Station deliveries as well. Of course, there's other means to get stuff up there, but you can't just pull a rocket. You don't go to your local grocery store and pick up a $9 billion rocket or whatever.
No, you get it from Home Depot. Home Depot, man.
Right. You just MacGyver that crap together, right?
I need a turkey baster, a paperclip, and 3 rubber bands, and maybe some baking soda and vinegar, and we're good to go. I got this solved.
That's just how you make firecrackers, man, not rockets. So anyway, the point is twofold here. First of all, it's going to impact future launches. I have no doubt that they will eventually find out what's going wrong with this puppy and fix it. But second of all, space is still dangerous. You can't do this out of a mom and pop shop. You got to have your ducks in a row. You got to have the adequate safety. You have to have the quality assurance going on in the manufacturing, in the designing, and you got to do it right. We are still not at the stage where you can grip it and rip it. You have to know what you're doing here, especially if you plan on putting a person on top of that sucker. So before you light the candle with you on top, you better know that it's not just the lowest quality parts underneath you. You got to know that everything's going to work first time, every time. And it's just dangerous, and we're going to fix it, but it's still not at the point where you can fly off to space in your garage. You can't just grab the Millennium Falcon and go off to Endor, right?
Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure that you can.
Only in a J.J. Abrams movie right now.
SP, how could I get the Millennium Falcon? That happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, God, way to go. Because you came across it. Because you came across it, Chris. Like, I'm gonna use this, use that.
I'm going to cross the streams. It's all happened before. It's all going to happen again. It was found underneath. Did you not hear the stories a few years ago? They found it at the bottom of the ocean.
Did you see there's actually a Star Wars comic that came out. It's a what if book where the Millennium Falcon crashes on Earth and Indiana Jones finds it years later with Han Solo's corpse inside.
I did not. No, I didn't know that. That's funny. That's hilarious.
I didn't know about it until Lauren told me about it. It was pretty cool. But yeah,
it's a good read.
If you haven't read the stories, there's this formation at the bottom of the ocean that looks exactly like the Millennium Falcon. So go look up that. There's your Easter egg for the episode. Go look that one up.
So I want to actually bring something up, not being a complete a-hole, but I was reading about this today, and what I found very fascinating about this is they were talking about how the planned future manned spacecraft that they're going to send up, they've been spending a lot of money into the safeguards to prevent it. Like if this had been a manned spacecraft and there had been an explosion, they've got a technology they're working on in order to save the astronauts. I thought that is a really, really important thing that they're working on. And I think as well that it's even more evident now that this happened.
Yeah, it's called the Transporter, and Scotty's getting right on that, let me tell you.
No, seriously. I thought you would know all about this, Mr. Rocket Scientist.
If you're talking about the capsule recovery system, it exists, but if you've got that much rocket fuel that blows up like right underneath you, odds are your capsule ain't gonna survive it. So,
you're toast.
I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it
no
doesn't.
Pun intended.
I think in that scenario, it's the capsule recognizes that something's going on and it separates itself from the other mass. So basically it's another jolt. It fires its propellant and gets you away from the explosion, but it's a jerk. An acceleration of an acceleration is called a jerk, and your body can only handle so much acceleration G's and so much jerks. No pun intended.
I was going to say,
term.
If anybody has learned anything from the fact that this podcast has subscribers, is that, people can tolerate jerks a lot more than everybody thinks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, JS isn't here, but we do have Stevens.
I am a complete jerk, and I stand behind that.
Are you saying all Canadians are jerks, SP?
Yeah, actually. I mean, look at Wing and no, wait a minute. Neil's cool. Neil's cool. I can't say that. Neil's cool.
I was gonna say
you've got one.
Except he's currently in your fair country right now. I know he was making a run for the border, though. Right now, he told me like an hour ago he's making a run for the border. So I can only assume that means that he's caused all sorts of havoc while he's been down there.
He's just here for America's birthday. That's all.
Yeah, and he's coming back in time to celebrate the Canadian birthday. Why? Because it's more important.
Because he lives there.
You can send your hate mail to steven@GonnaGeek.com. All right, I'll go up with the next news story here. Next up on the news, Chris, why don't you go ahead and go with your news story?
That was a ridiculously terrible blind toss, but I'll go with my news story. So I don't know if you guys had heard, but since about 2012, Michael Dorn's been shopping around the idea of a Captain Worf television series on TV. Have you guys heard anything about that?
Yeah.
It was a while back, but I haven't heard what's happened since.
Yeah.
So I guess he's been doing some interviews, and he did a Reddit Ask Me Anything where he revealed a few key details of what he wants to do in this Captain Worf series. First of all, the title of this proposed series would be a mouthful. It's Star Trek The Next Generation, The Worf Chronicles. It's almost as bad as the Sarah Connor Chronicles title in being long. According to the Reddit AMA, he said, quote, "I'm working on a campaign to bring back Star Trek, and my ulterior reason is to fully flesh out the Worf character. Finally." Here's what got me excited, though. In the same interview, he said, "Who wrote the scripts? Well, here's who wrote the scripts for the first few episodes. It was Ronald D. Moore." Yes, Battlestar Galactica writer,
that's awesome.
Voyager writer. He doesn't like to admit that. Deep Space Nine, Next Gen writer.
He doesn't because he had a terrible break with Star Trek. It was so pitiful.
Right.
And of course, we got some awesome couple of first seasons of Battlestar Galactica. A lot of people will argue past that, but we did get a resurgence of sci-fi in the mainstream because of him. I would argue.
Because of Ron Moore. I mean, and the fact that this is Ron Moore writing Star Trek again. I'm super intrigued if this ever sees the light of day. Now, do I think it will ever see the light of day? Probably not, but Michael Dorn did say in an interview that he's had meetings with CBS and Paramount, who are the companies that own the TV and movie rights respectively, and they haven't said no yet. So that's at least a little bit of a victory. There's a chance. There's a chance.
I'm going to go ahead and say, well, of course they're going to meet with him if he's sitting there talking about a possible Star Trek project, because at the very least they need to say rights issue.
Well, he can't do it without them.
Exactly.
I mean, he's going to. Well, what's happening? He's not going there to say, "I'm doing this." He's going there to float the idea and try to get permission to go forward and do it. And from a fan standpoint, I would love to see Star Trek on TV again. Yeah,
but I'm saying that the idea of the meeting does not mean anything positive. It's no guarantee that there's any positive direction. It could be as quick as, "No, you're not doing it, Dorn."
No, they haven't. No, you didn't hear me say what I said. They haven't said no yet. In fact, they've been taking the meetings. So that's the positive part, is nobody's come out and be like, no. There's meetings going on. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But they haven't come in and be like, "No, you can't have Star Trek back, Michael Dorn. That's not for you."
I think it's destined. It would be nice to have that going on, because it is a void on TV. And, right now, if anything it has been proven, it's that there's a resurgence of everything that our childhoods and early adolescences were. They're all coming back now. It's happening. Look at Ghostbusters, right? Look at everything that's going on here. I think it's a matter of time till we see a Star Trek series back on TV.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to be a reimagination or reboot or whatever of an existing series. The last series thing, or actually it was kind of joking thing that I saw about the TNG crew was the Rikers, where
oh yes,
Miranda Sirtis and Jonathan Frakes got out there, and it was a YouTube video, like 15 minutes long or something. I can't remember the
about that,
but yeah, it was pretty funny to watch. I only watched it once, but it was pretty funny, and I enjoyed it. So
okay, so I honestly can't tolerate the two of them doing any projects together because they ruined Enterprise. So yeah, that's where I'm at with
the writers of Enterprise at the end ruined it by not making it be about Enterprise. They just called those guys and said, "Hey, do you want some money?"
Well, they should have said no. They should have said no. I don't want your money, even though I have a gambling debt. No, that's not true. I made that up.
Enterprise. Okay, so that was at the tail end of what? 17 years, 20 years of continuous Trek on TV. There was Trek apathy out there. You got to admit that. It was just time for it to go on hiatus for a little bit.
But they totally ruined Enterprise. It's something that they were in a situation that Enterprise was heading in a really good direction. It was a shame it was getting canceled, but it really had recovered. And then they're like, oh, you know what we'll do for the finale? Spoiler alert, we'll kill off the character that everybody loves. And then we'll go and we'll bring in freaking overweight people. Sorry. Anyways, I shouldn't
Steven,
say that.
Here's where that whole theory falls apart.
You're just talking about the finale, right?
Yes. The finale was terrible.
All right.
But here's the thing. It was already canceled before the finale even filmed.
Yeah.
So that's not like that's what killed Enterprise. It had already been canceled. The ratings had gone down the tube.
Okay.
No, but in my mind,
it was still good.
It killed it in my mind.
I'll back Steven up here because we've had this conversation before. We need to devote an entire episode to it of series that were ruined by the last season or the season finale or whatever. I mean, Chuck is one for me, right? How I Met Your Mother is one for me, right? So if that happened to Steven for Enterprise, I actually can understand that. Now, I actually enjoyed the entirety of the Enterprise. I liked the connection at the end. So for me, that was okay. But if it ruined it for Steven, then it ruined it for Steven.
No, I understand where he's coming from because I didn't like about the ending that the focus was now all of a sudden on characters from the next generation we hadn't seen on screen in forever instead of being on the Enterprise characters we've been following for 4 years. I get it. But I'm just saying that appearance isn't what killed Enterprise. It was dead before that.
I know, but I like to pretend. I like to pretend.
You like to blame Riker?
Okay. I'm gonna make really horrible comments, so let's just move on from that because yeah, it was just a train wreck. The whole finale was a train wreck of all sorts of pieces.
Or Thomas Riker. Oh, you know what? That was Thomas Riker. There you go. That solves everything for you.
There you go. Problem solved. And for those of you guys that don't know Star Trek, they're all like, "Shut up, guys! Talk about something else." So, Steven, what do you got for us?
All right, what do I got going on in the news this week? This week in the news, damn it, I got nobody to blind toss it to. No, what
blind
it
toss
is
to yourself.
If you recall, a few weeks ago, we talked about the purchase of AOL. That's right, Verizon went and purchased AOL. Well, apparently the times are a-changin', and what they've decided to do is say, screw you, Google, screw you. And they've announced that the AOL website will now use Bing instead of Google, starting in, I believe it was January 2016. I believe it was. But this is more than just this news story. I didn't realize this. Digging into this a little further, Google has been losing these partnerships apparently quite a bit. It was, I believe, last year that they went and they lost their partnership for the default search engine with Mozilla, and Mozilla now apparently defaults to Yahoo of all things. So
well, let's rephrase. They decided not to keep paying that much for the Mozilla default search engine.
Yes, no, that's true because it is something that there's no, because I know all of these have an agreement that there's amount that Google has to pay based off of the
Google
advertising.
Paid to be the default search engine on Mozilla, and they decided, we don't need to do that anymore.
Gotcha.
For what the fee was, because I'd read some spec or statistic rather, I can't remember where I found it, that the money they made off of Google selling the search rights for them paid for like most of their development for a few years.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's
because
fine.
they were taking the money Google paid and dumping that back in and developing the browser. Now, I don't remember where I read that, and I might be wrong from what I read. So send your hate mail to me, chris@GonnaGeek.com.
I just honestly find the whole thing very interesting, and it's something that I think, it's obviously not going to kill Google by any means, but you have to remember every piece of search that they get is more towards their advertising dollars, right? Like it all adds up, and mom or grandma and grandpa who do happen to have the default search browser because they don't know how to change it. This is some people that Google's losing out on. They're not getting that information anymore.
My work transitioned over to Bing as a mandatory search page. I can't turn it off, sort of thing.
Ugh.
And I do not like it. I use it to go to Google when I can, but most of the time I'm so busy, I'm like, screw it. And when I do, I don't get as good as results as I get with Google. Google has cached a heck of a ton of information and knows how to go through it on a search result. So it's not perfect. Nothing's perfect, but it is a better, on the whole, it's a better result for me. So I try to use it whenever I can. I'll admit it. I'm kind of a Google search fanboy, but anything, if it'll actually get to where I need to go, I'll use it. But whatever. I prefer Google.
No, I agree. I'm in the same situation. That happened to me at my work, and I always Google.ca before.
Here's the other thing you got to consider too, is the fact that the desktop world and the main browser and stuff, companies aren't going to care as much anymore. We're going into a mobile world now. And the fact is, if you have an Android phone, everything defaults to Google search. They can make money off of that. And there's how many Android phones out there? A metric crap ton of them.
What is a metric crap ton?
It's a lot. It's more than a few and less than a metric crap bajillion
I'm
ton.
just saying the fact that, it's always the Americans that use the term a metric crap ton, not us Canadians who actually use the metric system. So I think
just like the expression.
Crap ton is actually a technical term, and it's for a gross of a gross, which is a Google. And so a Google of a Google is a crap. So metric crap ton is a gross of a gross of a Google of a Google. Just saying.
You just blew my mind. Blew my mind.
But I guess that's all we got going on in the news this week. You guys got anything else before we roll on into the next segment?
I got new internets, and I'm happy.
You got new internets?
New internets. I told you guys about this on the Messenger, I think, but I kind of sold my soul a little bit and re-upped my contract with Comcast, and in return, they quadrupled my internet speed. So my question for you, is my soul worth 100 megs down and about 25 up?
25. I did not see 25 on your test. I saw like 12 on your test, not 25.
It'll spike to 25. Most times it's sitting about somewhere between 12 to 18.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I tell my wife too. I'll spike to about 8-9 inches.
Oh, no. You just made me face palm.
Sorry, I had to go there.
So Sunday, I'm rapidly trying to edit some podcasts and try to get Monday night. It was last night. Just trying to get Voices of Defiance out, whatever. Ding dong, the door. I'm like, great. I think it's some of the neighborhood kids, because I got some like real little neighborhood kids that just moved in, whatever, and they like get tufts of dandelions or whatever and come, oh, look at the pretty flowers. Oh, cute. Yeah, you go on your way. Okay. But it happened to be an AT&T salesman, and he was like, oh, I want to help you with your internet. What are you getting? I'm like, oh, really? So I tried to impress him with what I had and everything. And nope, he wasn't having. So how much you pay for what? And I've been through all of this. I know what, especially since Chris just did it. I was like, okay, did a little research. Got on the keyboard. It's like, oh, yep, still have the best deal for me for what I want, internet and cable wise. And he just wouldn't go away. So for the first time in my life, I literally slammed the door in his face. I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I was very lucky for a long time. Right now, my current provider, I got 50 megabit down, and I don't know, some crap up, three up or whatever. But the point is that the only other provider around here, the most they could offer, like my little cul-de-sac, was 10 megabits. So anytime they came to the door and they're like, we would like to see if we could offer you a better deal. First thing I was like, I have broadband 50, and they're like, okay, see ya. So that was my shutdown. But then apparently recently they upgraded. Now I can get up to 25, and I kid you not. The neighbor next door to me has 50. I do not. I am the end of the line. So apparently I just live in the Twilight Zone or something.
Your neighbor stole your internet. That's what happened. They just had so many ports. They had so many fast speed ports on the router. Your neighbor got it and you didn't. That's exactly what happened.
So what you need to do is make a deal with your neighbor to just run a length of Cat5 from the back of his router to your router in your house and problem solved.
But we both know that he would just like be like, here's your bill. I promise you, I'm not using your internet. I promise you.
So guest 816 in the chat said, SP is an anti-flower holding little peoples. Shame, shame. Okay, not only am I anti that, I'm anti-solicitors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cattle prod powered shock pad on my front stoop. And when I see somebody through the window that shouldn't be there, that is soliciting, with a sign on my door saying no solicitors, harm might be called you, whatever, I'm going to light that sucker up every single time, and that'll teach them to get away.
Oh dear, I have a bad feeling about this.
Me too. I think that this is, if you want to be a co-host of wow, that was a close one, of GonnaGeek, let us know, because I have a feeling we're about to lose one to jail.
Oh, we already did, so.
Where do you think Wing is? He's not living elsewhere. He's in jail, man. He's in podcast jail.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on into the next segment. Shall we do that?
Let's do it.
Sweet.
Here at the GonnaGeek podcast, we've learned that it's important to recognize our shortcomings. Yes, that means we understand that right about now you're still itching for more geeky content, but you also can't tolerate to hear much more of us. Good news on both fronts, the podcast is almost over, and we want to send you some recommended geeky reading. Here is the highlight from the website.
This week on the highlight from the website, I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's a little production called Jurassic World.
What is that, a little indie flick?
I think, yeah. Who is it that makes it? I think it's Sam Johnson. Is that his name? Sam Johnson.
Isn't one like a video game based movie, kind of like Clear Skies was?
Right.
Could be.
No, you know what it is? It's a documentary. I forgot. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah. Now I yeah. Like just like Transformers was when they were in the Air and Space Museum.
Yes.
Exactly.
Michael
Bay, I hate you.
What?
Although, okay, real side. Something like, okay, I like The Last Ship, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, and I watched the credits, I'm like, oh, Taco, this is a Michael Bay production.
Did you feel dirty after that?
I did. I'm like, oh, I need a shower. I'm watching Michael Bay and I like it. Oh. All right, back to Jurassic World.
Let's go back to something enjoyable.
All right. So seriously, though, Jurassic World did indeed happen and blew everybody's minds. It sold an amazing amount of tickets. It was insane, destroyed all the records. So you think this means that it is a very successful project and a successful endeavor, and this means that everybody must like it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Money means it's a good movie, right?
Well, there is an article on GonnaGeek.com called Jurassic Fanboys, Why the World is Not Enough. And I'm not going to tell you too much, but it's going to make you think a little bit. Well, what it is Eric Ophel from last week, he did this article and has some really interesting points and thoughts on Jurassic World and sort of the whole history with Jurassic Park and Summer Flicks for that matter. So I really encourage you to go through it. I think it's an intriguing read, no matter what you think about Jurassic World. And I have not seen it yet, so I can't judge the flick or the film. But I still found this very, very interesting.
Must go faster. Must go faster. Must go faster.
I like the way Eric closes his article saying, once again, nothing against any critic I described. Feel free to rip me a new one. I think the old one is clogged.
Yeah.
So the old one was great. I have not seen the new one yet. I have been a little bit busy. Maybe I'll get to it this weekend. I doubt it because I'm going out of town. But I really enjoy, once again, the film music, the score from John Williams. Phenomenal. Love it. It's haunting. It's beautiful. I just like that French horn sort of feel. So whatever you think about the movies, the franchise, music is outstanding.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I remember the first preview that I saw. I knew it was going to be a good score. Just with the little classic Jurassic Park riff just in the background. It was awesome. I liked it.
Okay, that's it.
Can't
That's all I can tell him.
No more.
John's going to come sue me.
And we got no money here. There's no money to be had if you sue us, guys.
No money.
Yeah. There's
broke.
definitely no money to be had here. Yeah, we'll stand with
Nobody
Steven
at
doesn't pay us.
podcasting.
No, I'm serious. There's seriously no money at all. None. But let's get back to the topic at hand. Check out the article, Jurassic Fanboys, Why the World is Not Enough. Really good read. Well, before we close, I just want to go ahead and remind everybody that we are indeed part of the GonnaGeek network. Where are we at network at? GonnaGeekNetwork.com. Is that right?
.com.
Or GonnaGeek network or GonnaGeek.com/network.
Yes, we are. And you know who else is part of the GonnaGeek network at GonnaGeekNetwork.com? Unqualified Gamers. That's right. Unqualified Gamers is back with more episodes. You can check out episode 112 where, Chris, what happens?
Well, John reviews Crypt of the Necromancer before he talks about his obsession with this year's Final Fantasy V 4-job fiesta. Plus, Cody talks about Geometry Wars 3, side note, which I've heard is really good, and the Hearthstone expansions, Naxxramas and Blackrock Spire. Also, Hearthstone's pretty badass. You guys should play it. Listen to also learn the secret behind the best single-player games to take turns while playing with friends. Find all of that at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. That's episode 112 of Unqualified Gamers.
Wow, that was amazing for a blind toss. I just got to give you props on that one. Way to go. Way to go.
Somebody's been studying the show doc.
It's not like I don't have the show doc up in another window.
Yeah, we're all multiple monitor capable on this podcast right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we are. We are indeed.
Steven has like 6 monitors in front of him, so.
Seriously, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, TV 5, and then there's a lot more wired in there, but it's a bunch of craziness.
They're all little iPhone screens though. You know, the 4-inchers.
They're not. 2 24s, 2 20.3s, and a 24-inch television.
See, there he is with the size. Yeah, I think he's compensating. He's got to be
size
compensating.
matters not, man. Size matters not.
No, that's very true. At least that's what I tell myself. But let's go ahead and get to the closing plugs. Chris, anything that you would like to plug or promote?
No, I'm good.
I see what you did
I
there.
almost made a joke, but I'm trying not to make those jokes anymore because I learned during our pre-show that making mom jokes makes tech unhappy, and I don't want to cause our tech to break again.
Well played. Well played. Mr. Pioneer, do you have anything?
I'm going to go all American. Happy 4th of July. If you have not, go out and read the Declaration of Independence. I don't care what country you're in. It's a foundational document in the world's history, and you really should. Like the Magna Carta, the Declaration of Independence, there's several other documents like it. You should go out and read it, especially this weekend because it's 4th of July, and enjoy the freedoms that it has wrought in the world.
That's great. And I agree. Happy 4th of July. I've got American relatives. And seriously, happy Independence Day to you folks. I will steal a page from the Stargate Pioneer books and wish all of my fellow Canadians a happy Canada Day. And also, I encourage you to read. I encourage you to go to the local Tim Hortons and read the menu. That's what I encourage you to do.
There's a Tim Hortons 5 minutes from my house.
2 miles away, man.
Well, I expect you Americans to go tomorrow to celebrate the fact that you are eating at a once Canadian restaurant, which is now a American-owned company, which resides in Canada, which owns the most American fast food franchise ever. So think about that.
I'll be enjoying my little Tim Horton balls. What are they called? The little balls.
Timbits.
The Timbits. I'll be enjoying my Timbits. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Do you guys get roll up the rim down there?
What?
I have no idea.
No, it's a contest. See, you don't get the true Canadian Tim Hortons experience. That's a special.
Oh, yeah, yes, we do. I know exactly what you mean. It's where you can literally unroll the top of the cup and there's like a code in it. Yeah, we've had that here before.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You're not that special, Canadians. Come on.
Oh, that's the one Canadian thing I thought we had.
You had it. We took it.
Exactly.
Nom, nom, nom.
All right. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap us up and finalize this week's GonnaGeek.com podcast, episode 102. Remember, if you're not watching, watch every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I am Stephen John Drew.
I am George Washington.
And I'm Happy Birthday America, and it up tomorrow.
Bye.
From everyone here at the GonnaGeek.com podcast, thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We encourage you to send your feedback by email to podcast@GonnaGeek.com. You can find all of our show history at GonnaGeek.com/official podcast. And while you're there, why not head over and check out all of the geeky podcasts on the GonnaGeek Network. The music heard on this show is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again next week.